Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidenam ascharyavat vadati tathaiva chanyaha Ascharyavat chainam anya shrinoti shrutvaapyenam veda nachaiva kaschit. This shloka is from the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is explaining to Arjuna how the Atman, the Jivatman, is eternal. The Jivatman is not the body itself, but in fact different from the body, and how no weapon or fire or water can destroy the Atman. This is something very new to us. We have never seen anything in this world that is indestructible. Any object that we see with our eyes is of course going to be destroyed at some point of time. It might be even a large mountain, but it is going to break down, and we all know about erosion. It is slowly breaking down. It is slowly devolving into sand. So nothing in this world is going to be permanent or eternal. So when Arjuna was taught about the Atman who is eternal and never changing at all, it was very astonishing to him. So Krishna himself says, this Atma is not a very common object. It is not something that you can come across in this world. Ascharyavat, it is very astonishing, awe-inspiring, and when you know more and more about the Atman, how he is not touched or how he is not affected by by thirst or hunger, etc., and how all of these have crept in only because of this body and they are not natural to the Atman. As Krishna explains this, Arjuna is more and more interested to know about the Atman. But Krishna did not tell Arjuna that once the Upadesha of Bhagavad Gita is over, it is enough. You have learnt all that you need to know about the Atman, and so you can now only practice what you have learnt. This is one important concept in our Sanatana Dharma and Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. When we say that we have to learn about Atma, we have to learn about Paramatma, we have to learn about Dharma, it is not a one-time activity. When you go to the world, even in modern education today, we earlier used to say that once you have completed your studies, then you are equipped to start some vocation, you can start working. It might be in the same field in which you are educated, or it might be completely something irrelevant to your education also. But once you have started working, that skill set, that knowledge that you have at the beginning of your career will take you through your career. You might pick up some skills here and there, like typing fast or something, or shorthand or something on the go during the course of your career. But the skill set and the knowledge that you have gained at the beginning of your career was enough to take you through your life. But today, that is not the case. You study undergraduation, you study post-graduation, you take up a job. On the job, you have to keep updating yourself. You have to keep learning more and more things. Something that is discovered afresh or something that is innovated afresh has to be known to you so that you can apply it in your work also. So education or learning is a continuous process. It never comes to a halt. Similarly, the learning about the Jivatma and Paramatma and Dharma on Mukti also is not a one-time activity at all. That is because there is a difference. I have told that modern education or learning is also not a one-time activity. And the learning that we have in spirituality is not a one-time activity also. Now, there is a difference between the two. Modern education is not a one-time activity because there are many new discoveries, there are many new inventions, there is a lot of new thought which has to be known to you. Here in the Upanishads, in the Puranas, in the Vedas and Bhagavad Gita, we are not going to find something new in them, but they have all been written down. There is nothing more to discover now. But when we listen to all the preachings at once, it is not possible for us to digest all of them. There is only so much that I will be able to bite and I will be able to chew. Similarly, when someone dumps say 100 hours of Upadesha on me, I might be able to process say 20 hours. That might be my capacity. The other 80 hours of Upadesha will go waste at that point of time. It is not a complete waste. it will imbibe some samskara in you, it will make some impact in you, but what has sunk in, what has been internalized would be only 20%. So what do I do then? Do I have to listen to another 100 hours and listen, get the next 20 or 30%, then listen another time and get another 30%. Once I have achieved 100% understanding, I will start practicing something. That is also not possible. Then we would have to be learning throughout our lives and never practicing. So Krishna says, first, from what I have taught you, from listening to Bhagavad Gita, know a little bit about the Atman, know that clearly. You don't have to know about all the aspects and the greatness of the Atman, but whatever you know that clearly, internalize that and start practicing Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, etc. Slowly, after some time, your mind will be ready and mature enough to gather more information. At that point of time, go to an Acharya again and get Upadesha again. After some time, start practicing, your mind will become even more open to these ideas, these things will sink in and get internalized, then you will be able to get the next 20%. Similarly, you have to go to an Acharya and get Upadesha again and again and again. That is because our Vasana, what we have been doing for all these many years and so many countless births, is only Laukika activities. We have been taking birth, we have been drinking milk, we have been excreting unwanted things, waste from our body, we have been speaking, we have been eating. All this is natural to us, or it is very familiar to us. Knowing about the Atman is a new, unfamiliar territory. We have to go into this with a very open mind and a firm mind, and we can only grasp so much at one point of time. So Krishna says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. He tells Arjuna, please go to a very learned person, prostrate before him, do some service to him, ask him with humility what doubts you have, and he will tell you about the truths about the Atman. This is what Krishna said. We might ask, if someone has taken Upadesha from Krishna himself, why should he go to another Acharya? That is because Krishna might be able to pour for 18 adhyayas on us. We will not be able to grasp the meaning of all those adhyayas. So, we have to listen to Bhagavad Gita once, we will capture 20 or 30%, start practicing that. Over a course of 1 or 2 years, that practice of Karma Yoga and Dharma will strengthen our mind, it will open our mind, we will be able to grasp even more. You take a common example, there is a jar, I have to fill something into the jar. If I keep pouring, it will all become a mound, and at some point of time it will start overflowing. You pour 3/4 of the jar, then you shake the jar, the sand or whatever product will settle down. Then you will be able to pour some more, shake it, it will settle down. Pour some more, shake it, it will settle down. This is how we can gather knowledge also. So Krishna says, you have to learn about the Atman again and again and again, so that you can internalize everything and start practicing also at the same time. Today, we are going to see a story. This episode is titled Food for Thought. Usually it means I am going to give you some concept which you can think about and you can internalize. But today, we are going to talk about food. There is a story in Vishnu Purana, the second Amsha, which talks about an Acharya and a Shishya, a Guru and his disciple who met many times. The Acharya was called Ribhu. He is a son of Brahma himself. He was a very great Rishi. He had realized the Jivatman. He knew clearly what the Jivatman is. He knew that whether it is a dog or an elephant or a human being or a Deva or just a mere rock, the Atman who is residing within each and every one of these objects, those Jivatmas are all equal. Just because someone is within the body of an elephant, it does not mean that that Jivatma is as big as the elephant. Just because a Jivatma is residing within a Deva, it does not mean that that Jivatma is superior to other human Jivatmas by nature. It is not so. We take a birth based on our Punya or Papa. I might have been a Devata in the previous birth. I might be a worm in the next birth also. So the Jivatmas who are residing in all these bodies are equal. They are all made up of Jnanam alone. There is nothing that will make one Jivatma superior to the other. Therefore, do not insult anybody. Do not think that somebody is inferior to you. Always think that we are all equal due to our past karma, I have been born as a human being in this birth, that Atma has been born as an animal in this birth, in the next birth, our fortunes might be reversed. He might be a deva, I might be a peon or a person who is serving him, or I can be a rock or a mountain also. Now, Ribhu has preached all this to Nidhaga. Nidhaga is the disciple. He was the son of a great sage called Pulastya. Pulastya's son is Nidhaga. Brahma's son is Ribhu. Ribhu is the Acharya and Nidhaga is the Shishya. Nidhaga went to the hermitage of Ribhu. He stayed there. Gurukula Vasa he did for a long time. He learnt all that is there to learn about the Atman. The Guru taught him how the body and the Atma are different, how the Atma is eternal, it can never be destroyed, how the Atma is actually in essence not touched by these differences that we see in the body at all. He learnt all this. Then Nidhaga came back to his own place. The Vishnu Purana says, Ribhurnama abhavat putraha brahmanah parameshtinaha tasya shishyo nidago bhut pulastya tanayah pura Pradad Ashesha Vijnanam Sa Tasmai Paramaya Muda. Ribhu was very happy with his disciple. Nidhaga was very inquisitive. He was excited. He wanted to know about the Atman. So Ribhu showered all that he knew about the Atman to Nidhaga. The Gurukula Vasa was over. Nidhaga came back to his own city, which was called Veeranagaram. There was a river called Devika. On the banks of that river, there was a large city called Veeranagaram. That was the residence of Nidhaga. Nidhaga came back to his house. He married. He settled down in his life. After 1,000 years, Ribhu came back to Nidhaga's house to see whether Nidhaga is still practicing what he learnt about the Atman. This is a very important aspect or an important duty that an Acharya performs. The word Acharya itself means not someone who just preaches. Achinoti hi shastrarthan achare sthapayatyapi. The Guru is responsible for making the Shishya adhere to Dharma, for making him tread on the path of Dharma. We will also learn a lot. We go to many lectures, we listen to discourses, we listen to them, we come back and the interaction is over. The Acharya or the Guru, the person who was delivering that discourse or lecture will not come to my house and see whether the next day I am doing Sandhya Vandanam, I am doing charity, whether I am contributing to planting of trees or building a pond or a temple, etc. He will not follow up. He might tell me that doing these things is good, it is dharma, that's all. But an Acharya is one who has a very close relationship with each and every disciple. So a Guru is someone who preaches in general. An Acharya is one who takes care that the disciple is practicing what he was taught. So Ribhu wanted to see whether Nidhaga is practicing the Atmajnana that he learnt. He wanted to test that. If not, he wanted to preach about the Jivatma again, so that when you listen to something again and again and again, it will be internalized easily. So Ribhu comes to Veeranagaram, to Nidhaga's house, to see how he is doing. Now, Nidhaga was about to take his food at that point of time. When someone comes, a guest has come to his house. He did not know that the person who has come is his own Acharya Ribhu. He was not able to recognize him. Thousands of years have passed. His appearance might have also changed. Nidhaga was not able to identify or recognize it was Ribhu who had come. So Ribhu entered the house. He was given a lot of upachara and a seat was given for him. Arghyam, Padhyam, whatever upachara or some services we have to do to a guest, all those were performed. Then Nidhaga requested Ribhu to come partake food. He said, we have a lot of food cooked here. I have rice, I have pulses, etc. I have some saktu mavu and all these are there. You can take any of these that you want. I want you to be happy with these. Ribhu listened to all this and answered, I do not eat these common types of food. I want something superior. I want payasam and I want some savories and some sweets. Once you have made all this, he specifically mentions more kurambu. In Tamil, more kurambu is a gravy that you make using curd. So he asks for more kurambu. He asks for savories and sweets. He asks for payasam also. So Ribhu said, I don't want these normal daily routine items that to eat. I can get that anywhere. I have come to you because I want something very good. please make all these. If you don't have all these ready, please cook all these, and if you offer that to me, only then will I be happy. I want superior or I want luxurious food items. This is what Ribhu said. Nidhaga was a little skeptical. This person seems to be a yogi. He seems to be not attached to this world, but suddenly he is asking for a lot of good quality food and sweet food, etc. Okay, when someone comes to our house and asks us, I want to eat this, can you make it for me? Then, however hard it might be, we should try our level best to meet his needs, to meet his desires. So Nidhaga went to his wife. He asked the wife said, okay, I can make all of those, no problem at all. She took an hour or two, she cooked a very nice 6-course meal, and once Nidhaga came back to Ribhu and made him sit on the floor, he served all those food items. Ribhu had a very good meal. Once Ribhu was done eating, he washed his hands and came back and sat in his chair. Nidhaga asked Ribhu whether he was content with what he ate, whether Tripti is satisfaction, whether he has attained satisfaction based on his meal, whether his hunger that he had, the desire for food that he had has gone away now. And then he asks, who are you? Where are you coming from? Where are you headed to? And so on. Apite parama triptihi utpanna tushtirevacha apite manasam swastham aharena kritam dvija kva nivasaha bhavan vipra Kvacha gantum samudyutaha. He asked, Apite parama triptihi utpanna. Have you attained satisfaction? Have you attained joy or happiness? Now, is your hunger gone? Who are you? Where are you coming from? Nidhaga asks all these questions to Ribhu. Now, I earlier told you about the title of this episode, Food for Thought. That is not a concept that I am going to explain. This food that Ribhu took from Nidhaga is the thing that is going to make us think now. We are going to ponder about this food that he has taken, and Ribhu uses that food to explain a very important concept to Nidhaga. So something as simple as food, as daily routine as food, can make us think a lot. It can make us understand many superior concepts also. Ribhu is supposed to answer. He asked for savories, sweets, payasam, etc. Nidhaga has served all of them to his level best. So he is now asked whether he is satisfied. Ribhu, with a common decency, should have answered saying, thank you very much for a very sumptuous meal. I am very happy now. My hunger is gone. I thank you a lot. I am very happy. I am joyous. He should have told this. Any common person would have told this. Ribhu now answered saying, Kshutyasya tasya bhuktante bhuktenne triptihi brahmana jayate name kshut nabhavat triptihi kasman mam paripritchase. Ribhu started to answer, oh brahmana, you are asking me some questions, but I really don't understand why you are posing these questions to me. Nidhaga said, you are the one who said you were hungry, so I served you food. You are the one who should be satisfied now. Therefore, I am asking you. Ribhu said, I was never hungry. When did I say I was hungry? Hunger is not something that the Atman has by nature. Hunger is just something that this body experiences. Thirst is something that this body experiences. This body is made up of Prithvi, Jalam, Tejas and everything. When the water content in this body gets dried up, then that feeling is called thirst. When the Prithvi, the earthly products in our body get dried up, that is something that we feel as hunger. That is all. When the stomach is empty, when there is nothing more to burn, when the stomach itself is starting to get burnt, it is called hunger. When my throat is dry, when the water content in my body is going down, that is called thirst. So thirst and hunger, kshut and trit, are just concepts or just attributes of the body. They are not a feeling that the Atma is supposed to have. They are merely an attribute of the body. So, when the body experienced hunger or thirst, only the body can get satisfied. Why are you asking me, a Jivatma, whether I was satisfied? I never had hunger in the first place. I did not take food to quench that hunger at all. Therefore, I am not the one who is supposed to be satisfied at all. I am a Jivatma who is untouched by any of these. I am unaffected by any of these. So don't pose these questions to me. Then we might think, should we pose the same question to the body? Ribhu says, the body is an inanimate object. It has no knowledge at all. It is non-sentient. Therefore, the one who has hunger and who should be satisfied cannot feel anything because he is non-sentient. The one who is sentient does not have hunger, does not have to be satisfied once the hunger is removed at all. He cannot be joyous for eating something. Therefore, O Brahman, O Nidhaga, don't ask these questions to anybody. The one who has hunger cannot answer you. The one who can answer you does not have hunger at all. Therefore, these questions are irrelevant. Then you asked me where I am coming from, where I am going, who am I? These questions are also moot. There is no question, there is no need to ask these questions. We are all coming from the same place. We are all going towards the same place. We are all the same. I am no different from you. You are no different from your wife. I am also an Atma. You are also an Atma. She is also an Atma. Every animal, every prani in this world is an Atma. Therefore, there is no difference. When would we want to know about someone? We would ask something, who are you? That is so that I can identify who he is. He is different from me. So I have to know about him. Suppose all of us are equal and we have understood that we are all similar, we are all the same. Then there is no question to ask, who are you? There is no need to ask where you are coming from. I am in samsara. I am trying to go towards mukti. I am born in many bodies in many births. There is no single identity for a jivatma. I cannot say I am Ranganathan because Ranganathan is a game given to this body for this birth alone. In my previous births, in many births, I might not have had a name. In many births, I might have had other names. I do not know. So, no single name or a place of birth or a height or a weight or a complexion, none of these can identify the Atman. So, there is no point in asking who are you, where are you from, where are you going, what is your purpose, etc. These are all same for all the Jivatmas. So, Nidhaga, both of your questions are irrelevant. You asked me whether I am satisfied, my hunger is gone. You cannot ask me, I never felt hunger. I am not the person who was hungry, my body was hungry. But the body cannot answer you. You asked me where I am from, who am I? You and I are the same. Don't ask such questions to me. So, you should know all of these before asking. Nidhaga was now very careful. He knew that this person was a saint, he was a very learned person, he should be treated carefully. But Nidhaga still had a burning question. He posed this question to Ribhu himself. Since you are such a great jnani, you have realized the Atman, you should not have bothered about what food is being offered to you. Only this body was hungry, the body needs to be satisfied. Why did you ask me for very sweet and very superior foods? You could have eaten whatever I had given. I might have given you just soup also. You should have been content with that. Oh Ribhu, you asked me for sweets, you asked me for savories, and now you are saying I am a Jivatma, I was not hungry at all. Why are you contradicting yourself? When you did not want normal foods and you wanted superior or luxurious food items, then you were not a jnani at that point of time. Now suddenly you are speaking like a jnani. Why are you contradicting yourself? Nidhaga put this question boldly to Ribhu. He did not know Ribhu was his acharya. His acharya had come there. But Ribhu smiled and said, boy, that was also a test that I had given for you. When I asked for luxurious items, luxurious food items, you should have told me what is luxury to this Atman. Enjoying Bhagavan is a luxury that the Atma should have. These foods do nothing to the Jivatma, the body. Any food item, however tasteful it might be, we do not experience taste once it has crossed this throat. Only when food is in contact with the tongue can we experience taste. Once it has crossed these 3 inches of a tongue, there is no difference whatever food we have eaten. So, Ribhu said, that was also a test that I kept for you. When I told the statement, if you had asked me or if you had preached to me that food, whether it is stale or new, whether it is tasty or not, is all the same to the body. O sage, O guest, do not wish for such luxurious products. You must be content with whatever we have or whatever we get. We must not go behind food. Krishna says, Yadrichalabha santushtaha. One who is practicing dharma, karma yoga or bhakti should be content with whatever he gets automatically. Meaning, I try to earn food. Whatever I get in my first effort, it might not be very sweet. If I go 5 kilometers from here and there is a restaurant or a food place or even a temple, let us not consider eating in a restaurant at all. There is a temple where there is very good pongal. If I am there in that temple and I get that pongal, that is fine. But I should not go 5 kilometers to get that pongal alone. If there is something available closer to me and it is easily accessible to me, I should take that. Whether it is superb or it is very normal, I should eat that and be content. So Ribhu said, that was also a test that I kept for you. You should have told, what is there? There is nothing called a common food item and a luxurious food item. He says, Mrishtameva yadamrishtam tadeva udvega karakam amrishtam jayate mrishtam mrishtad udvidate janaha. Ribhu says, oh Nidhaga, there is no food item that is ever tasty. Something that I have cooked today would be tasty for 2 or 3 days. Suppose it is a sweet. It does not get spoiled within one day. It might be tasty for 2 or 3 days. After a month, will someone eat a jangri or a rasagulla or a gulab jamun? Unless it is packed with preservatives, nobody would eat any of those. So something that is very sweet and very delectable today might be udvega karam. It would be repelling to me to eat that 15 days or 20 days down the line. But in some cases, bitter gourd, which was very bitter and what was not to my liking at all, if the doctor says that it is good to me, will suddenly become so to my liking. So Ribhu said, do not think that these foods are superior or inferior. Foods are all the same. They are made up of some earthly particles. They all come from the seeds. They all come from some nutrients or vitamins, etc. So all of these are only concerning with the body. The Atma is not concerned with any of these. That was also a test that I was keeping for you. Now I have understood that you have not internalized your Atma Jnanam. Therefore I have come again to preach to you. When Ribhu said, only then the Nidhaga recognized that his Acharya Ribhu has come to his house. He fell at his feet. He apologized to him. He took Atma Upadesha again once more from his Acharya. Ribhu was happy. He was not dejected that his Shishya or disciple had not practiced. He knew that nobody can get Atma Jnana completely at the first attempt. We have to listen to it again and again and again. Once we internalized what we have learned till now, we have to go again to an Acharya. Nidhaga did not go again. The Acharya came in search of Nidhaga. He took on this responsibility to ensure that his disciple was not going astray, that he is internalizing what he has learned and he is putting to practice. This happened once. Ribhu preached all about the Atman to Nidhaga and Ribhu went away to his hermitage once again. Another 1000 years passed by. Ribhu again wanted to check whether Nidhaga has learnt his lesson this time, whether he was practicing the Atma Jnanam that he had learnt. He again came to Viranagaram to meet Nidhaga. When he was trying to enter the city, he saw Nidhaga standing outside the city gate waiting for something. There was a large crowd there. He went to Nidhaga. He asked Nidhaga, why are you standing here? Nidhaga answered, Bho Vipra Jana Sammardaha Mahanesha Nareshwaraha Pravivikshuhu Puram Ramyam Tenatra Sthiyate Maya. This Ribhu came to Nidhaga and asked him, oh, why are you standing here? Why are you not going inside the city? Nidhaga answered, can't you see there is such a big crowd? The king of the city, Narendra, the Mahanesha Nareshwaraha Pravivikshuhu, the king of the city is going to enter the city. Can't you see the king coming on top of the elephant? He is slowly coming in procession. Once the king has entered the city, everyone has gathered to meet the king, to see the king and get his darshan. Once the king has gone inside, the crowd will dissipate and only then will I be able to go. I don't want to get caught in this crowd. It is very hard for me to go in. So I am waiting here in one corner so that the king can pass by and the crowd can go away. Ribhu then asked him, Yoyam Gajendram Unmattam. So Nidhaga had told many concepts here. Ribhu slowly asked Nidhaga, you spoke about two people, one called the king and others called the common folk or the people, the ruled people, the ruler and the ones who are ruled. You spoke about two people, the king and his subjects. Who is the king? Which of these people is the king? Which of these person is the subject? Can you please point it out to me? Nidhaga said, can't you see the difference? It is so explicit. The one who is bedecked with jewels all over the body, who is coming with a large crown on his head, who is sitting atop the large elephant is the king. The ones who are below like me and you, the ones who are in ragged clothes, the one who are all prostrating or folding their hands in Anjali towards the king, they are the subjects. The one who is sitting above is the king, the one on the elephant, the one with a lot of jewels, the one with is the king, the ones without jewels and without all these luxuries are the subjects. It is very explicit, it is very clear. Can't you see this? Nidhaga asked Ribhu. Then Ribhu put forth another question. You spoke about two things. You said the king is sitting on top of the elephant. Which is the elephant? Which is the king? I am not able to discern who is who. Can you please point out who is the elephant and who is the king? Nidhaga said, are you blind? This big animal that is black in color, this is the elephant. The one who is sitting top of that is the king. It is very easy to understand. Don't you know anything? Are you blind or are you dumb? Why can't you understand this? Ribhu again slowly asked Nidhaga, you said someone is below, the elephant is below, the king is sitting above. What is above? What is below? Who is below? Who is above? The Ribhu again asked him. Nidhaga did not understand that Ribhu has come again to test him. Immediately, Nidhaga was annoyed. He pushed down Ribhu, got on top of his shoulders and then told Ribhu, now do you understand? You are the one who are below. I am sitting on your shoulders. I am the one who is above. You are below. I am above. You are the one carrying me. I am the one being carried. So you are like the elephant. I am like the king. Similarly, that elephant is carrying. That person sitting above is the king. The black thing is the elephant. The one bedecked with jewels and ornaments is the king. Can't you understand this? Why are you posing such stupid questions to me? Nidhaga was really annoyed. Ribhu slowly smiled and asked, boy, I still have one more doubt. You said, you are standing below. I am sitting on top of you. Who are you? Who am I? I am not able to discern these two also. How are you able to say this is a different person, that is a different person? Can you explain to me who am I and who you are? Once this question was put forth, Nidhaga was convinced. He only then realized that his old guru had come again. Someone, usually Vedantis or Atma Jnanis are said to be confusing. Whenever someone talks like this confusingly, then you can know that he is a very learned person. So Nidhaga immediately understood his mistake. He got down from his guru's shoulders. He again fell at his feet and said, you have preached to me twice already. I am a dumb person. Yes, you were right. I am dumb. I am not able to internalize about this Atman. So please preach to me once again. What is the Atman and how I can forever see that all Atmas are equal. None of these qualities that Nidhaga narrated are going to identify the Atman. The king is not the person who is bedecked with jewels. The king is some Jivatma who has taken up a body, who has taken birth in a royal family. He has taken a body, he has taken a birth in a family that has a lot of jewels. So he is adorned by them. The subjects are not so. Because of their Papa Punya, they are born so. The elephant, the Jivatma within the elephant is no different from the Jivatma within the king. But Nidhaga said, the black one which is large is the elephant. The Atma within the elephant is not black, he is not large. The Atma within the king is not white, he is not small also. All of these external qualities are only of the body. None of them can affect the Jivatma. So when we say king or elephant, you, I, above, below, the bearer, the one who is born, one who is carrying, the one who is being carried, all these are extraneous. These are not identifiers of the Atma at all. The Atma can only be identified using sentience or Jnanam. The one who has Jnanam is Atma. The one who is made up of Jnanam is Atma. The one who is indestructible is Atma. Ribhu again preached all these truths to Nidhaga and said, I will come back after 1,000 years again. How many ever times it is required to make my disciple follow this, to practice this what I have taught him. I will come again and again and again. I am not going to shy away from this because that is the duty as my Acharya. Ribhu knew his duty very well. Nidhaga has to learn, has to understand his truth, has to understand his duty and start performing it. Similarly, all of us have a lot of Ribhus. There are many Acharyas, there are many texts who are willing and who are wanting to preach to us. But we should have an open mind. We should learn something from an Acharya, put it to practice. Don't wait for a complete understanding of this whole Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma or Shiva Ittavam to start practicing. That is impossible. Since it is based on the Vedas are unending. You can never complete learning the Vedas. So it is impossible to complete your education and then start practicing. You learn something, you have an undergraduate degree, start working with that. Then after 2 or 3 years, we go for postgraduate. That is considered very good now. Earlier, undergraduation and post-graduation were done one after the other. Today, in the management education course, or when you do an MBA, it is better if you have work X. You should work for 2 or 3 years and then come to study a management degree. Similarly, the first undergraduation is the first thing or the first preaching of an acharya. Then you practice something. You see all the troubles that you will face, hardships that you will face. Try to navigate them. Try to stick on to what our acharya has told us. Then again go to the acharya and say, I have these problems. Can you preach once more to me so that I can get over these problems? He would be happy to preach. That is the quality that an acharya should have. He should be happy to preach how many ever number of times it is required. The quality of the Shishya is that he should put to practice what the Puranas and the Acharyas have preached. And whenever he has doubts, he must not hesitate to go again to the Acharya and ask. That is the supreme bond or the relationship between an Acharya and a Shishya. The Shishya should never hesitate. The Acharya should never be annoyed. Even in the story, it was Nidhaga who was annoyed by Ribhu's questions, not Ribhu because of his Nidhaga's ignorance. Ribhu was happy preaching again and again. Ribhu or Nidhaga should be happy to ask his guru again and again. So, today we have learnt food for thought. The food that Nidhaga served to Ribhu gave rise to many thoughts in Ribhu and Nidhaga. They learnt a lot about the Atman and finally put it to practice. We too should understand this. This is just an example. One story from Vishnu Purana. It is a very lively story. There is a lot of good interaction in this. There is anger, there is love, there is what you should do for guests who come to your house. There are morals, values, etc. And within all of these, the underlying thread is about the truth of the Atman. So we have learnt this story today. We will continue to look at such interesting stories in the days to come. Thank you.